Jeff Sturtz here with Fathom Realty. Thanks for downloading our Agent Business Planner. I'd like to show you how the planner works and how it can help you plan out your year of real estate business. Instead of starting with a goal for how many sales you want to do or how many transactions you think you might need to reach your desired income level, this business planner actually starts the opposite way. And what I would say is the more helpful way, because you really are trying to say, this is what I want to make, and therefore this is the kind of business that I'm going to need to do in order to make that. So by starting with your income, it then helps you understand how much business you need to generate, and then subsequently how much activity you need to do in order to generate that business in the next 12 months. So let's get started. You'll notice here that we have these blue boxes. Those are the ones that are editable, and so those are the ones that we're going to focus on, and there's not a whole lot. And we're going to start with that income goal, and then it's going to break down what that looks like in commission. Eventually, it's going to break down in how much that's going to look like with your closings, and then we're going to get on to the activity down here. So let's start with that income. Let's say you are looking for a nice, healthy income of $80,000. So we'll punch that number in there. This is going to show you how it compares with Fathom, so you can see that. If you're a Fathom agent, this is what you get to experience here. But we have then our average sales price that is going to help us break it down. So let's say maybe your average sales price in your particular area is $300,000. There we go. And then average commission earned per sale, and that of course is just your side of the transaction. So if it's a 6% listing fee, then you get half of that. That's your 3%. And that breaks down to $9,000 in gross commission before fees and that kind of thing. Then we have our transaction fees per sale. Maybe your particular brokerage doesn't have any transaction fees, but often there are. So we'll just maybe throw $150 per transaction that comes off of that $9,000. Maybe you have additional fees on top of that, technology fees or something that you would pay average. So we'll throw another $50 on that. And then we'll set your agent split. So how much are you actually keeping from that sale? So let's go real aggressive here, and we'll say that we keep 70% of commission. Now it's going to break down for us automatically how many closings that you're going to have in order to hit this goal. So it's kind of cool. So for this particular brokerage, if this is your numbers, you would have to close 13 sales in order to hit $80,000. That's assuming all these fees and everything are correct. So now it gets down to the planning part. And we're going to see this is going to represent Fathom's commission structure, but later we're going to be able to in fact, I'll just leave this open here. You can see what your numbers would be when it comes to the activity. So we're going to start with kind of high level stuff right here. And we're going to see how the math is just so powerful. But thankfully, this sheet does the math for you. And then we're going to get kind of real granular as we work our way down the sheet when it comes to activity. So we have listing versus sales. So we're going to punch that in. What are the percentage of your closings that are listings? Optimum numbers here are in the yellow. So we'll leave it at that 75%. So we'll assume that 3/4 of your sales are listing sales, or your closings are listings. And then we're going to kind of go down through this. What percentage of your listings actually close? We'll be optimistic here, and we'll say 90% of our listings close. Obviously, 100% would be great. What percentage of your sales contracts actually close? Let's do the same thing. We'll put 90% in there. How many appointments do you need to obtain one listing? And that's going to differ for everybody. So we'll go ahead and we'll bump it down to 4 just to change things up. How many contacts do you need to obtain one appointment? How many times do you need to call somebody, pick up the phone, mail something, actually get in touch with somebody in order to get a listing appointment? So we'll leave it at 15 there and see how that breaks down below. So then, with this as your basis, this is kind of how your business works. Then we're going to see this is the number of listing sides required to close to reach your goals, as well as the sales side required to reach your goals. And this is how it breaks down. You would have to list 7 homes, and then you'd have 2 sales from as a buyer's agent. So that kind of gives us what we need here. And again, these are Fathom's numbers. If we go down here, you would see by comparison, you'd have to list 10 and then you'd have 3, and this gives you the math of what the difference would be between Fathom and your current brokerage. But let's go ahead and look at the activity, and this to me is fascinating. So you're gonna notice here we have 12 months, annually, monthly, then this per weekly thing, and then down to per day, and that's kind of the direction that we're going here with the activity. So then we're not entering anything, we're just seeing how the math then breaks down from what we've filled out. So this shows the number of sales contracts needed to open you need to open in the next 12 months. You'd have to open 3 sales or have 3 sales contracts. You'd have to have 8 listing contracts, because again, it's assuming that you're only closing 90% of those contracts. The number of listing appointments needed annually. So that goes back to this number here and does the math. How many appointments do you need to obtain a listing? So it breaks down to 31. How many do you need monthly? You'd have to have about 2.5 listing appointments per month in order to hit that, and in order to then hit that up there. And then we go down further. How many listing appointments do you need per week? Well, it averages out to be less than 1 per week, but there is a number there. How many contacts do you need to make with people per week in order to hit your listing goal? And what that's doing is it's multiplying this by this, and giving you, all right, if I'm gonna need 4 appointments to get 1 listing, and I need that many contacts to get that 1 appointment, that gives me this number down here. How many contacts do I need per week to hit my listing goal? And then it even breaks it down based on a 5-day work week. How many people I need to contact, how many contacts I need to make per day. And this is where, to me, it's really cool. So then I can go, all right, on a daily basis, I need to be touching 2 people in order to hit my annual goal. And that kind of makes it a little bit more manageable. Now I can set goals for myself daily, weekly, monthly, etc. If this isn't revealed on the one that you're working on, you can just hit that button there, and then you can see how that compares with Fathom. Obviously, the way the numbers break down here, it would be more of each of these. You'd have to contact closer to 3 people, 14 people a week, etc., etc. So that's really what it does. It gives you a goal for each day then based on what your annual income is. And then you can go back and play with it and say, well, what would it take then for me to hit $100,000 in annual income? How would that compare to Fathom? How does that look at my current brokerage? And then what do I need to do on a daily basis? And you can go back to that bottom number there and just work your way back up if you want to. So that's the business planner. I hope it helps you plan out your year and helps you achieve that goal, that income goal that you're hoping to make over the next 12 months.